Friday morning. It is Friday. This week has been a crazy week. Thank you so much for joining us on Business by Design Online. I'm Katie Sevenance, and I am your host. I love bringing you these weekly tips every Tuesday, every Friday, 10 a.m. Mountain. We have been interviewing some of the most amazing, outstanding women. We had one guy on our show, but it's people who are out there changing the world, that have a message, that have experience that they can share with you. So maybe to give you a few tips and ideas that can help you scale your business, or maybe you want to start a new business and you just need some ideas on where to go. So we're excited to have you here. My guest today is Jess Sato, and I am going to bring you up so everyone can see you because, oh my gosh, what a bright sunshine you are.
Oh my goodness.
I'm so happy to have you on because how long have we known each other? Maybe like a year?
Yeah.
About that.
A little longer, but yeah, about a year.
And we have a few similar, well, my daughter, oh my gosh, my Great Dane just opened my door. That's scary. You have a dancing daughter. I had a dancing daughter who is now going off to college in 2 weeks. So we're in a big change right now. Jess, you've been an amazing businesswoman for a very long time. You had your own business. You traveled all over the place and I cannot wait to hear some of your adventures. And then you started your own business, and I cannot wait for you to share a little bit about that with us. Will you? Oh my gosh. Okay, seriously, don't tell her. Every time I move my arms, so I have to hold still, the sun reflects and she will jump up onto the ceiling. Like you can see her tail wiggling over.
See her tail. Oh my gosh.
Distraction. We talk about working with distraction.
Story of my life, right? I'm home. I've got 2 kids. We're online learning. It's crazy all the time. It's all good.
Okay, but you had, before we get into like your fun businesses and where they have taken you, you just took a trip this summer that I lived through your photos. Tell everybody where you went. And this was a family adventure right here in our own country. I love it. It was beautiful. Will you tell us where you went?
Yes. So we took 3 weeks. It was originally going to be 2. And then my husband was like, let's make it 3. So we took 3 weeks and we toured the national parks, and we had big plans to go to Glacier, and that didn't pan out just because closures. I mean, you know how it is. So we spent a week in the Grand Tetons. We spent a week in Yellowstone, and we wrapped it up in Rocky Mountain National Park. And it was amazing. I mean, we were largely off the grid. I was, it's interesting. I had planned some, we'll get into this. My business partner, she was like, I knew you were going to be off the grid, but I didn't know you were going to be like off the grid. And honestly, I didn't think I was going to be that off the grid. I thought I would have better access. I didn't. And, the first week I was kind of panicking. The second week I was like, okay, I'm settling in. And then come the end of the third week, I was like, okay, I'm ready. It was really good. So it was amazing to just be outside. I mean, both of those places are amazing for their own reasons, but it was, like you said, it was a family affair. My husband, my 2 kids, and then my husband's parents were with us. And we were just out hiking and the whole cabana. So
you guys are adventurers. I can tell.
Yeah.
I know your son is a very good rock climber.
Yes. Yeah.
You all do it though, don't you? Do you all rock climb? The last time I did it was like 10 years ago. And I thought when my knuckles were going to break right off. I was like, oh man, anyway, I'm impressed because the pictures you showed, you can tell you guys get right out there and enjoy everything. So
yeah, it was really good. I don't know if 3 weeks is a really long time. So I feel like somewhere right in the middle of 2 to 3 is just about right for me. But then, I could be convinced to go a little longer too.
Depends on where I'm going. I always said when I worked for the cruise line, I worked there for 20 years. I always said 7 was too short, 14 too long, 10 perfect for me. But yeah. Now, were you guys like really camping?
Oh, for real, in a tent?
Yeah, not glamping, not. I know. That's what I thought.
I will say we had like 2 nights in hotels because they were transition nights. But by and large, we were in a tent. There was rain. There was, wind. Like the pictures of our tent before and now, because of the wind, it's not pretty. But you know what? We survived it. So
I love
it was
it.
a really, really good time. And also, a really precious time because my son is in high school, and I recognize that we're probably slowly moving toward that point in life where we'll have less and less of those adventures with him. So it was a really good time, and I'm really,
I
really
love
grateful.
it. I think that's one of the biggest blessings that has happened during this. I mean, my family is healthy. We've all been together. I've had my girls all together, and I'm so fortunate. I know not everyone is, but we have made such a great time of this together, hanging out. So I love it.
Yeah.
So this month, we've been all talking about systems and apps that have helped in businesses. We've asked our guests what apps they prefer, how do they use them, what do they like. Before we get to that, will you tell us a little bit about your business journey? Because I know it has changed and shifted, and you are doing amazing things.
Thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, probably like a lot of people, I began my career in corporate, and right from college straight to corporate, was there for 10 years. And I had really great jobs. I worked at the Boeing company, and got to work with the military for a good 5 years. And then I ended up switching over to the Leadership Center, which is, this amazing place where we got to build programs to support Boeing's leaders as they were growing and developing, all the way from thinking about management all the way to the senior most executives of the company. So it was a time I look back on really fondly. But like a lot of people who start their businesses, I knew that I wanted to do more, but I also really wanted the flexibility. My husband was traveling all the time. He was a manager. I was in the classroom all the time. It was just, and we had 2 young kids, no family at the time. We lived in St. Louis, and I just knew I needed more flexibility. I was operating at zero bandwidth. So I left, built a plan, left, and actually, interestingly enough, this is not relevant in the sense of this is what I do now, but for a long time I had a cookie and cupcake business, and that was the kind of the intermediate business. So I had that before I left corporate. It was a side hustle, built it into something really solid. I loved doing it, but I knew it wasn't really my passion. And the work I was doing at Boeing, doing leadership development, coaching, training, and that sort of thing, that's really my heart. I love being in front of a room, just holding the space for people to grow and learn and to take in new insights and apply them to their lives. And so I ended up doing that. I got asked to come back as a contractor and did that for about 6 or 7 years. And that's where I was traveling the world, Russia, Ethiopia, which is the beginning of our Two Smart Girl story. But those were in some ways some of the best times, but also the times when I look back now, I think, wow, if you only knew what you know now and you had applied it then, it would just be such a different story. But in 2017, I was in Ethiopia for almost 6 months off and on for
And
about.
you had kids then?
I had kids. Oh yeah, they were 5th and 2nd grade.
It's hard.
And my in-laws were amazing. They helped us. Actually, my husband and I were living with my in-laws because we had just moved to Colorado when this whole thing happened. So we were trying to buy a house, sell a house, get our kids settled. And I was away, in Ethiopia. But it was an amazing experience and really got to see such a beautiful culture that I had no idea about. And, while we were there, we just had, I say we because Christy and I were working that contract randomly together. And we realized
he is
that
now your business partner, but at the time you met did you meet there?
No. We've known each other, since 2007. And we've worked together off and on, but never like what we do now. And we landed this contract in Ethiopia, working with Ethiopian Airlines.
Wow.
And lived together. I mean, Christy always says, you find out a lot about people if you can love them or hate them, if you live with them for like 21 days straight. That's not lying. And we just found that we had like such great chemistry. And we even joke now about how, we saw each other more that year than we saw our own families, our own husbands. We were literally sharing this moment. We did not go anywhere without each other. And while we were there, we realized we were doing work that we were passionate about, but we wanted to do it on a more personal, individual level. So we had worked our whole careers with corporations, and there's a really beautiful space there, but we loved what we saw in Ethiopia was that you can impact people at the individual level. And sometimes corporations don't allow that. Meaning not that they don't allow it in reality, but the structures and the boundaries that happen in there. And we loved the possibility of watching, in particular, women grow into who they're meant to be when they don't have these boundaries. And we had seen that for ourselves as as we were in our own entrepreneurial journey. So we had a whole series of powerful experiences, which literally shaped our lives and was the launching point for Two Smart Girls. And so in April 2018, we met together in Phoenix. We had we had our own individual businesses. And when we left Phoenix, we had one.
That is so cool. I love it. And I love the community that Two Smart Girls has created. You have an online presence, you have coaching, you have all kinds of things happening. And I love how you just have this, you can feel the culture, you can feel that these are your people. Yeah. So I love it. So what made you think, okay, it's time, we just have to do this because we know we can impact people, and you bit the bullet. Yeah. You said,
so, this is what started it. Was we were scheduled to go to Ethiopia for our final trip, and right before, literally less than 24 hours. So think about this, right? We're contractors, we're doing this work. Less than 24 hours before we're supposed to get on the plane to leave, we get a call and they say the trip is canceled. And as contractors, like, a gap in your schedule like that is really overwhelming. And we were just like, oh my God, what is happening? And at one point in there, our husbands, this is just almost embarrassing to even say this, but real talk. Our husbands were like, are you getting paid for this? And we're like, oh. And so then we looked at our contract, and our contract said we were supposed to be given 2 weeks notice. And there was all this drama, a lot of mind drama. That's really always what it comes down to, mind drama, where we were like, well, this is a developing country. This is a grant from the United States. Do we really feel good about taking their money? But then also at the same time, we are business owners, and we're like, this is a huge part of our business's revenue. And we hemmed and hawed about this for weeks. And finally, almost ironically, her husband said the same thing as my husband, which is, no man is out there worrying about all this stuff. They're just invoicing because the contract is the contract. And so we got on the phone with our liaison, and we just said, here's the deal. This is the contract. It's not, it's not personal, it's business. And I'll tell you, I'm not confrontational by nature. I like to be in harmony with people. And I was way out of my comfort zone. But there came a point where we said, we need you to honor the contract. Yeah. And the man said, so you think you should get paid for work that you did not do? And it was like a moment, right? It was like this pregnant pause. And I just knew, like, if we said no, don't worry about it, we'll just reschedule, we would keep doing that. Like, we would acquiesce. And I just said, yes, I do think you should pay us because that's what our contract says. And he goes, okay, just needed to hear you ask for it.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh. I'm telling you, it was like the emoji, right? My mind exploded because all this time I had been mired down in stress and drama, and it just doesn't need to be that way. And that, we ended up, we invoiced them, they paid us, we went back, we finished out the contract. And I love this, Joy saying the contract is, yes, it is. But we always are like, oh, no, don't worry.
As women, typically, I know you can't say that, but we're learning now. We're making progress.
We are. Well, and that really is the heart, right? Christy and I, we finished out that contract, but we just kept coming back to that experience thinking, oh my goodness, it was really that simple. All we had to do was ask for it. And how many other women, particularly women business owners who have been highly successful, driven, passionate, are out there minimizing, questioning, wondering if they're worth it, if they should ask, what it looks like if they do that, And we just said, that's when we met in Phoenix, we had started doing some work on this whole concept of what if. And we got together, the chemistry from Ethiopia was still there, and we just said, let's do it. And so here we are. Is that your dog? Oh my gosh.
Okay. Now something happened. I apologize. This is
oh
my
my gosh,
granddaughter too. Oh my goodness sakes. So somehow no one's watching the dogs or anyone right now.
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So sorry. Oh my gosh.
No worries. No worries.
Can you get June too?
This is our life now.
Ooh.
Okay.
Somehow the dog opened the door and then everyone came in, and anyway, the Great Dane's still in here. That's okay. Sorry. Oh my gosh. This is what we do, right? You have to
You have to adapt and be agile. It's
I
all
apologize.
good.
So, okay, so you guys are helping women primarily. Do you work with men too, or is it primarily women?
We do work with men. We do work with men. Actually, interestingly, our whole careers have been with men. Christy started in chemical sales and worked in that industry for a lot of years, and I worked in aerospace. And so it was almost all men that we worked with. And we do still work with them. In fact, she's working with a man this morning. But our heart is for women because we are women. We're mothers. We know what it's like to be out there, be trying to build a business and to struggle with this sense of confidence and worth and just all of that stuff. So yeah, we mostly work with women, and we work with women who are still in the corporate space, who are thinking about transitioning. Maybe they're at a career crossroads or trying to figure out their next steps, but they just aren't sure, all the way through building their businesses. So really setting them up for success to make the leap. And then once they make that leap, really giving them the foundation to build a successful business.
I love that. I love what you're doing. And I know you're helping a lot of women because they say to me all the time, oh, I can't wait. You're going to talk to Jess. Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome because just seeing you, the way you relate with people, you can tell that you have so much knowledge and you care. You're passionate about helping women make those choices to realize their own value. I love that. It's awesome.
It's right. I need to be able to do that. I think about that a lot. How much of a gift it is to be in service and supporting other women in their journey. So it's fun. I mean, that's what you're doing, right? You're also doing this, really helping women be super successful to follow their heart and their dream.
It's interesting because one of the things you said is you came together and you realized, oh my gosh, we can help people. We can put this together. And that's kind of how we felt with this business as well. It's like, there's so much out there when people come together. When you can come together and share that knowledge, you realize how valuable it is and how many people don't have that support system. So that's one of the reasons we're very passionate about just getting information out there, connecting women together to really be able to grow and do what they want. I mean, I worked in a cruise line for 20 years, loved it, but I traveled all the time, the good and the bad. I traveled all the time. And when you have kids too, just to make that choice. So I love that there are more options now for women and that there's so many ways that you can make a living. You don't have to be tied into one little box or two, so I love it.
Oh, you're speaking my heart.
All right. So tell us some of the things that you have learned or some things that might have helped you as you guys are growing your business, because I'm guessing you have to have some systems in place to have your business running like it is and with as many clients as you have. I mean, it's one thing when you have one client, but when you're helping a lot of people, where do you go? What do you do?
Yeah. So this is so funny. Christy and I were actually just talking about this the other day about, I tend to be the more process oriented, like documented type person. And she's way more the renegade. She's like, let's just do this. I'm like, okay, but we need a plan and we need some structure and we need to create all these things. And she's like, forget all that. We don't need any of it. So we've come, that has been, I'm sure you guys have had a similar thing where you have these different personalities, different needs, et cetera, that come together. So we have had to learn how to work together because we were both independent for so long. And one of the things that has helped us just kind of stay on track, we use Trello. It's one of my favorite tools. I'm sort of obsessed with it. And, we keep all of our stuff in there. So at any point, if Christy's like, what's the password for this thing? She can go in, know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
What's the schedule for the blogs? Who's the guest blogger? What are our standard operating procedures? All of those things are listed in there, along with like the client, the CRM. I mean, all of that stuff. So we have really built that system for ourselves, and I love it so much. So we have been able to utilize that. And I wish, you were asking me before, what do I wish I had known? I wish I would have known how important it is to actually be organized, to have documented processes and systems, right? It's so critical. And my husband is constantly saying, I told you so. So he's a systems engineer. He's obsessed with processes and systems. And before it was cool to have system be an acronym, he was saying system as an acronym, system saving time, energy, and money. And at the time I never appreciated it. But now as a business, now that we're in this business where it really is required to keep track of things, to be in partnership with others, we have to have something. And so this has been the one tool that we have found that allows us to work in a way that is conducive to both of our styles.
That's really funny because with the three of us, we just had one of our executive retreats. I am the fly by the seat of my pants, no schedule. I mean, it's like I'm all over the place. I can, you tell me on a dime, I got to do a video, I'll do a video. Right. That's my nature. Phoenix and Joy, not so much. And they're going to comment here any second. I know because, oh my God.
I see Phoenix in the comments. Me too. Processes are my thing. Joy, speaking my language. Amen, sisters.
Yes.
Love a good process.
But I will say, coming to finding a middle ground that works, because when you have partners working together, and like you said, we're all three independent. We've always worked independently. Coming together and working with someone else, learning those styles and figuring out the best way to come together. Like, I know I need some systems because I'm just all over the place. Right. And so it's great to have the power of a team, because then they're helping me with things that I can use that we can all communicate together. So I'm getting better about having systems. Maybe they're going to have to let go a little bit and just be sometimes. But I will say Trello, I learned about Trello 2 years ago.
Amazing.
It's lifesaver. It is. Everything I do goes in there. Everything.
Yeah. It's amazing. And, speaking of partners, one of the things, like, we get to bring out the best in each other.
Yes.
Right. I mean, sometimes you bring out the worst in each other because you know each other so well. But when people say, oh, I wish I had a partner, I'm like, I wish you had a partner too, because it's amazing. Yeah. And you don't feel so alone, but you get the benefit of all that goodness, all those best qualities, right? So Christy forces me to be more, agile, more agile and adaptive, and, go with the flow when it is against my nature. And I add processes and systems that ground us. And so, I just think there's real benefit to having all of that merged together so that you get the best.
Yes. Well, and we were mentioning right before we went live about how when you get so focused on your project that you tend to not see outside of that. And when you have a partner, your qualities come together. And, it's like with proofreading, right? You can write a newsletter and you've gone through it 20 times. And then all of a sudden you send it to someone else and they see something on there right off the bat without even thinking about it. So, those are the benefits coming together. I love it. It is, it's pretty funny. I love it. So yes, Trello is one of my favorites. Phoenix hasn't decided if she loves it yet or not, but we're working.
So I feel you. I know Christy feels sort of like she could take it or leave it, but I'll tell you, when I was off the grid, our website crashed, and in Trello were all the passwords.
Nice. Yeah.
And so she was able to dig in and, work the problem in an area that she does not love. I mean, she tolerates the tech side. Right. And so, we're all learning. We all figure it out. And I have learned to relax my crazy and just have it there as a tool that she can leverage when she needs it, and not be like, you have to use this.
Right.
And once I took a step back, I was like, okay, this is going to work for both of us now. So that has been one, and the other thing I was thinking about, in terms of systems, I'm really big on time, right? I wish over time I had learned to use my time better. And since we started Two Smart Girls, it feels like everything is extra chaotic. There's a lot going on. We're showing up very differently than we had in our own individual businesses, marketing in different ways. And I needed to find a way to create real balance, right? I've got a family. We're very active. We volunteer a lot. And I found myself constantly overextended, and interestingly, joined women's networking groups and that sort of thing. And it was like meeting all these people. And I thought, when am I actually going to get work done?
Right.
And at the time, my coach had said, you really should try time blocking. And I thought, what the heck is time blocking? And now it's like my obsession. I mean, I literally taught a class on this last night. And, this idea of like really creating real focus in your business so that you know what you're working on every single day. You don't have to worry about distractions. I think that has been a game changer for me. And when I put those in place, right, I'm not always consistent, but when I do it, I'm like, what is my problem? I should be doing this every time.
Right. It feels so much better. Like, yeah. I know, because that's one of the things I implemented myself with 2 businesses, because I'm going crazy. Like, what do I do which day? And then if something's not on my calendar, I'm like, I have a free day. There's no free days. So right. Yeah, I love that time blocking. That's Google Calendar has been my favorite for that, because you can move things around. You can see it on your phone or your computer, and I color code my whole thing.
Color code.
Well, okay, let me just show you how. So this is my creative side. I color code my paper calendar and my calendar, my Google
I love
calendar.
It.
Yeah.
I love it. I bullet journal. So I have I have the to-do list that goes into the Google Calendar that then gets written on paper. And I'm like, this is crazy. And yes, and different color pens with highlighters. It's ridiculous, but it works, right?
Right. I know. Oh, that's for this business. That's for this business. This is a money. Green is for everything that makes money. And there's colors for each thing. And yeah, it definitely can help, I think, too. One of the things I love, we were talking about both Google Calendars and Trello, is because I don't want to be tied to my office, right? I want to be able to go and work anywhere, right? That's one of the reasons I started my own business. So both of those you can use from your phone too. So I love that you can access both of those.
Yep.
Because from anywhere you want. So you're not tied to an office.
Exactly. Well, and that it comes in so handy, right? Because if you're on vacation, for example, and you don't have your laptop, or you're out in the wilderness and you don't have a charge, right? You almost always have a way to charge your phone. And I could, definitely have, Trello right there, Google Calendar, even like, scheduling posts to go out on social media, right? We use Hootsuite for that. And, I was able to set those things up, check things, shift things, and I can do that no matter where I am, right? So I'm totally a paper girl. I have notebooks all over my office. But from a convenience and mobility standpoint, having apps and other things accessible to me is critical. And like you said, it's a game changer, because like now I'm not tied to my space. I can literally work from anywhere.
Well, and you mentioned your kids are still in school. Mine are grown now, but when they were younger, I was all over the place. We called it tag team parenting because we had to drive in different directions for soccer, basketball, and dance. And so being able to access all that from your phone, or I never brought my laptop, but I would have my phone and I would work from my phone all the time. So,
yeah. Pre-COVID, I was literally living on I-25, driving up and down to drop the kids, pick the kids, take them to activities and that sort of thing. And I can't tell you how many times Christy would say, something's not working. What's going on? And I could literally just pull it up on my phone, right? Technology is a gift sometimes. It's not always some other times. But I can't imagine what it would be like trying to run a very modern day, highly visible business and not have access to technology in that way. So
I agree. Yeah, that's true. That's so true. What else? What are your do you have any other favorite apps that you use on a regular basis?
Oh my gosh. Well, now I got to look at my phone.
I know, that's what I did the other day. I'm like, we've been collecting them. We're going to send out a whole list of favorite apps.
Okay. So this is not so much business related, but it literally has simplified my life. Instacart.
Oh,
it is
that.
Grocery delivery.
Oh.
And I literally plug in my grocery order. I mean, seriously, I don't know why anyone goes to the grocery store.
So
because for $99 for the whole year, I get free grocery delivery.
Really?
And so I will literally plug in my grocery order
to anywhere.
And well, here locally, it covers a lot of places. Sprouts, King Supers, I think even Whole Foods. And I mean, yesterday, literally was sitting at my desk. I was like, oh crap, I need to grocery shop because my husband and son are going on a climbing trip. And I was like, okay, bing, 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 bing. 2 hours later, groceries on my front door.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I'm writing that one down for sure. Because we are constantly going to the store and I hate it. I don't.
Yeah.
You get like good, fresh things. Like,
yes. And you communicate with the person real time. So the guy was shopping. His name was Israel yesterday. And he was shopping for me. And he said, oh, they're out of this. Can I substitute this? And I was like, oh, yeah, that'll totally work. He took a picture of something. How does this work? And I was like, that's great. Oh, I need pumps. Please make sure they're nice and firm. Like, you can communicate and like set specifications for what you want. And, is it perfect all the time? No, but literally it saves me hours. And also, really, it saves me money because I'm not wandering the aisles picking up garbage that I don't actually need.
All those Oreos yesterday, they had the Halloween Oreos, and I was like, oh, I'm sure we need those. You're right. That's really good. That's really good because think of what you can get done while someone else is doing the grocery shopping for you.
Yes. No, I mean, Christy and I will both tell you, she does grocery pickup. Like a lot of people, I think, do. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Yeah, the drive up. But I have found that grocery delivery works for me. I just want to have it at my house, especially like, a couple of days ago when it was raining, snowing. I don't want to go outside. I mean, it's totally a privilege. I get that. But
yeah.
And so
that's a business deduction because, you're going to be working and having it happen. So there's all kinds of benefits. So that's so good.
So good. Instacart's your new best friend.
Okay. So that's funny because the app that we use for our shopping is called Google Keep. And so we have lists. There's lots of different shopping lists on there. So we have a family grocery list. So whoever is stopping by the store then can look and see. So as long as no more complaining, there's no food in the refrigerator. They just say, if you want something, you put it on the grocery list and whoever is on their way home stops and they can click off whatever's on the list. I have to make sure when my daughter gets carried away and all the ice cream and stuff, but that's good because we do a lot of lists on that. And that's been a big saver for us, but I might have to check out that Instacart. That's a good one too.
Yeah. And then, it's interesting. I'm going to look at that Google Keep because it sounds very similar to, or maybe compatible with Evernote, which is one that we use a lot on a personal level, but I've started storing a bunch of business things in there too. So while Trello holds all the information, if I'm out and about and I'm making a list or something pops up, like if I'm out walking, hiking or something, I always, my brain is free, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like all these words just like start popping into my head, phrases I want to say or things I want to talk about. And so I just like plug those in Evernote because it's just an easy note keeping app for me.
Right.
And then I can share it, right? I can share it with Christy if I want. I can share it with my husband if I want. All of our master checklists for our family are in there. So
I was going to say all our Christmas shopping lists are in there. That's
yep.
That's funny. Oh my gosh. I love it. You are such a pleasure to talk to. I miss your face because we haven't seen each other in so long in person.
I know.
And we live just right down the street from each other practically. I know. All right. So how can people connect with you if they want to be part? Is yours Two Smart Girls? Is it your community open? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's totally open. So it's called the Smart Girl Community. People are welcome to join. And it really is a community of heart-centered, passionate women who are really trying to build a dream. And they are at all stages. So many are still in corporate or in, the 9 to 5. I'll just say it that way because it's not always corporate. All the way to people who've been entrepreneurs 20, 30 years. And so I love it because it's just so rich in wisdom, where people are constantly sharing experiences, challenging each other, holding each other accountable. It's just a really fun place to be. And so, yeah, that's definitely open. And then, we are on Facebook for sure. Two Smart Girls on Facebook as well. And then people can find us online. Our website's 2 smartgirls, smartgirls.com.
I love it. And the community is Facebook.
It is
a Smart Girl Community.
Smart Girl Community. Yeah.
A first?
No, just Smart Girl Community.
I love it. Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure I put it in I'll post it here so people can find you and connect with you and join your community. Thank you so much for giving up your time this morning to meet with us and share a little of your adventures and your tips for success in business. I love it. It's awesome. Oh, Phoenix says, I love working with my girls.
Oh, yeah. So good. Oh, I love Joy and Phoenix so much. I actually got to know Joy way better over the summer. So she's a joy.
She's a joy. I know. I keep telling her, you got to get that name out there because that's her.
I love it.
I love my partners just like you love yours. So thank you so much. I hope I get to run into you soon. I guess I won't see you at the grocery store, but somewhere.
No, you will definitely not see me at the grocery store. Maybe if I have to pop in for something super quick.
Well, maybe. All right. Well, you take care. And thank you again for joining us. This week, we have so many amazing guests coming up the rest of the month, all featuring and talking about systems and apps that have helped them in their businesses. Please tune in every Tuesday and Friday at 10 a.m. Mountain. We would love to get your comments and questions for our guest speakers. So tune in so you can ask them live. We will be posting this and links so you can connect with Jess. Thank you so much. I appreciate you this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.